What's up, y'all? EWD33 here. As you know, this week is our bye week, so I'm just making this video to go over some of the things I've seen this season and just basically some player stats, stuff like that. Give y'all my 2 cents on how I see we are now and what we need to do. First, I'm going to start with Michael Turner. He's had 138 rushes. I got my stat sheets right here, but so if you see me looking, I did some research. 138 attempts, uh, with 621 yards, which is an average of 4.5 yards per carry and 6 touchdowns. Out of the games, out of the 4 games, Turner has rushed for over 100 yards for 3-1. Out of the games he's rushed for under 100 yards or 1-2. We're 4-0 when Turner gets the ball 20 times or more. Which I mean, Turner's having a good season. Obviously, Malarkey needs to give him the ball, obviously, 20 or more times. I mean, that's not a foolproof plan to win, but it helps our case because it opens Matt Ryan for an air threat. Um, Michael Turner's having himself a decent season. One problem though is our O line, and they have the past couple games, needs to step up the run blocking. They need to make sure that he does not get hit behind the line. Obviously, that goes with any running back. If your O line is letting your running backs get hit behind the line, it's not going to turn out well. Because I know if Turner can get to the line and even past the line, he's dangerous. He's dangerous. You know, pick up 4 or 5 yards a carry, which is good. Um, Other than that, Turner's having pretty much textbook season. Not much has changed since last season. Um, he's doing all right. Next one, and then the biggest thing I see for the Atlanta Falcons in our success lies in the hands of Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is my favorite Falcons player. Him and Harry Douglas, actually. As you know, in my videos, I mentioned Harry Douglas's name a lot. He's been one of my favorites since he got drafted. I don't know. I always have kind of thing for the underdog, and he almost is like an underdog receiver for our team. And I've seen what he can do, and he's starting. People are starting to see what he can do with Julio Jones's injury. But this isn't about Harry Douglas. It's about Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan has a total of 1,683 yards, completion percentage of 61.8, which isn't much off than his career. Average 6.68 yards a carry, which actually isn't far off from his career average either. His career's average is actually 6.86. 9 touchdowns isn't great so far this season. Big thing, two big things are these two stats. 8 interceptions compared to his 9 touchdowns. That's not very Matt Ryan like. If you've seen in the seasons 2008, 2009, and obviously 2010, he's thrown a lot more touchdowns than interceptions. This is not good. Obviously not good. You don't want a quarterback throwing the same amount of touchdowns as interceptions. Also, third thing is his quarterback rating is a 79.5. Very, also again, very un-Matt Ryan-like. I think last year he finished his quarterback rating was an 86 last year, and so is his career average is actually now 85. Now, in games when Matt Ryan has a quarterback rating of 80 or higher, we're 3-0. In games where he has a quarterback rating of 79 and below, we're obviously 1-3. His first game, which was a loss, was a 76.5. His second game, which was a win against the Philadelphia Eagles, was a 91.5. His third game, I believe it was against the Tampa Bay Bucks, was a 75.7. His third game against the Seahawks was a 94.4. His fifth game against the Green Bay Packers was a 55. His sixth game against the Carolina Panthers, which has been his best game this season, he had 101, and that's actually the game that we have won by the most points. And his fourth game, seventh game, my bad, seventh game, he had a 63.1. We did not end up winning that game, but still. And this is what I think. I think as our team is starting to step it up in the past 2 weeks, our defense is starting to play a little bit. Our defensive line is starting to put pressure on quarterbacks. Our linebackers are playing great. Our secondary is still a little shoddy, obviously. I mean, as long as Dante Robinson's in there, it's going to be a shoddy secondary. I mean, Grimes is good, obviously, Optimus Grimes. And honestly, in the game against Detroit last week, I think Optimus Grimes outbeat Megatron, even though Megatron did have that one 70-yard reception for a touchdown. Other than that, he was shut down. I think William Moore, out of our secondary, he's probably our second best secondary. William Moore, and then Thomas Deku, and then there's Dante Robinson. I really wish we could find some way to replace Dante Robinson, but anyways, back to what I was saying. As we're starting to step it up, our O-line's starting to take a little bit of pressure off of Matt Ryan. And Turner's running well. There's one thing for us to be a Super Bowl contending team that needs to change. And what needs to change is the inconsistency of Matt Ryan. As many may know, well, Falcons fans, I don't know about anyone else, back in 2008 and 9 and then 2010, a lot of people, ESPN, sports analysis everywhere, were saying that Matt Ryan was going to be the next Peyton Manning, which is great. I mean, Peyton Manning's a good quarterback, but here's the thing. I'm not making that up. He has got to stop this one game with a quarterback rating of 90, and then another game with a quarterback rating of 50 or 60. This can't happen. Peyton Manning doesn't do that. Matt Ryan, if you're going to be the next Peyton Manning, you cannot do that. If we are going to make it to the Super Bowl, you cannot do that. If we are going to contend in the NFC South this year, you cannot have games where you're throwing 55 quarterback rating or a 63. We were able to win that game, but still, because, obviously it's there in the numbers. You have a 79 quarterback rating or below, we lose the majority of our games, except for that one, and that was because Turner was able to step it up, and our defense stepped it up and shut down the Lions. Matt Ryan he's on the plane of becoming a good quarterback and a superstar quarterback, okay? Superstar quarterback. Much I hate to say this, Saints fans, you can pat yourself on the back. Drew Brees is a superstar quarterback. Tom Brady is a superstar quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is a superstar quarterback. Peyton Manning, when he played, was a superstar quarterback. Matt Ryan is on the plane. He obviously needs to cross over, but he needs to quit making these boneheaded mistakes, turning the ball over, obviously with almost as many interceptions as he has touchdowns, and these quarterback ratings in the 70s, 60s, and 50s. It's got to stop. If he wants to be a superstar quarterback, he has got to be consistent. That's the thing you see with all those guys I just named. They are consistent. As much as I hate to say it, Drew Brees is a consistent quarterback. As much as I hate to say it, because I hate Aaron Rodgers and I hate Tom Brady. Also, I respect him, but I hate him. They are consistent quarterbacks. They usually, it's very rare that you see them have a quarterback rating under like a 75. It's very rare. I hate to say it, and I know sports, you might not like this, but I don't want Ryan to be another Bartkowski. I'm sorry, Bartkowski was a good quarterback. He was never a great quarterback, though. He had great seasons, but he also had shitty seasons. Matt Ryan cannot do that, especially with the caliber of offense we have presented him. He cannot be having the season he's having now. With he can't have a 79 quarterback rating. It just can't happen, all right? Especially if he's trying to be the next Peyton Manning. Here's one last stat about Matt Ryan. Last year, he had only 6 games with quarterback rating under 80. This year, he already has 4, and we've only played 7 games. We still have 9 left. That's a problem. See, if Matt Ryan, one of the big things I think is that if Matt Ryan can start consistently getting 80s and 90s, 100 quarterback ratings, stop throwing so many interceptions, stop getting all these crappy yards, we will be the NFC South champions. It's as simple as that. The reasons we've lost half these games is because Matt Ryan has been inconsistent and lackluster at that. And I mean, you know, people say your biggest fans are your harshest critics. I am Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's my favorite Falcons player, and obviously I'm a huge Falcons fan. So obviously I'm going to be a big critic because I want Matt Ryan to do well, and I watch him play and I see what's going wrong. He's like, I don't know. He looks kind of like a rookie out there. He's making stupid mistakes, and it's costing us games. Not solely costing us games, but it's definitely not helping us win games. I mean, if he can keep his quarterback rating over 80 the next 8 out of 9 games, I tell you right now, we will make it to the playoffs. I mean, that's it. That's it. As simple as that. Matt Ryan needs to step it up. That's my main concern. He needs to step it up. All right. Anyways, next person. Roddy White. I don't have his stats written down because I mean it doesn't really matter. The thing is, I think he has 3 touchdowns on the season. 3 touchdowns. But the problem is with him is he's dropping passes. He's not acting like he did last year. Okay, he's dropping passes. Lots of passes. Key pass being the one against Tampa Bay with, what was it, a minute and 30 or 2 minutes left in the game. It was 10-16 Tampa Bay. He had a wide open look to the end zone, 5 yards. Would have had a touchdown, would have put us in the lead. And he turns before he catches it and drops the pass. The touchdown pass. It couldn't have been more telegraphed, fucking put in the envelope, sealed touchdown for him, and he drops it. And I've been seeing him dropping a lot of passes lately. That needs to change, okay? Obviously, that's not a huge thing. But, I mean, obviously, that's kind of a pain in the ass. Another thing, obviously, is the penalties. We were one of the least penalized teams in the league last year. Like, one of the least, I'm saying, I think we were in the top 5 least penalized. This year, God knows, we're up there. And one of the most penalized teams. I think last game, we had 11 penalties for about 90 yards. I think our average penalty yard ratio last year was 4 penalties with like 40, 30 yards. So that's obviously changed, and that's got to stop. All right, and what I see is mainly the defense. They get flustered when especially Dante fucking Robinson. They get flustered and they make bonehead plays and they let their emotions get the best of them and they don't wrap up and they go straight into them. And even, you know what the thing is, a lot of the times you see them get penalized for these helmet to helmets that aren't even helmets to helmets. They're shoulder. They're using their shoulder. But the thing is, they're not wrapping up. And the way they present themselves after the guy hits the ground, they act like they're all hard because they just laid a big hit. And you're going to get called for that, especially with the way the NFL is now, okay? I mean, honestly, they turn one of the most, like, tough, hardcore games into kind of a pussy game. Obviously, not, but, I mean, some of the rules are very, like, it's just not the way it was played back in the day. Even when I was growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, it was still rough. Now they're starting to make it where you can't do